Hey guys, Dr. Prometheus here with a channel update. It is 25th of August, so we haven't done one since the beginning of August, and you guys have really shown up in both the subscriptions and the likes. So I want to do a little channel update. We're at 639, not even last update. They were probably around 570, so you guys are doing a great job with this. It's only been a year really since I've started committing doing something more regular with YouTube. Otherwise it was more of a impromptu releasing stuff here and there, and I've really enjoyed myself, and I think we're gonna take this up a notch and move our stuff. And that really goes with some of the hallmarks of what we had on this channel. We kind of go through really fast. We got some games coming out: Crusader Kings 3. We got Marvel's Avengers coming out soon as well. I got a list down here. Some games I might be interested. We got to play some more Breakpoint, a Surge. I have no idea if I'm going to get back into that, but I'm looking at a lot of games and kind of went on what we may or may not do. Things it's kind of interested in. Of course, some of these got delayed because they're next generation type deal. It's got to get into Outer Worlds, got to play Death Stranding. So a lot of stuff that we have to get into, but really the new games this month and going into early September really are Crusader Kings 3 and Marvel's Avengers, which will be playing on stream for Marvel's Avengers. Crusader Kings 3 might do a split, like Total War here, where we stream some Crusader Kings 3, and we end up having a YouTube series, and we slowly transfer over to straight YouTube from there. Really, this is a streaming series, and once we're done with this, we'll have a straight YouTube one with this. So I think we're going to be streaming more Odysseus soon. We just had Grand Tactician drop on the 21st, and I'm really enjoying it. You guys have been great when it comes to the likes, the comments, really talking about your playthroughs. Bugs, which I've been reporting a couple bugs that I've come across, especially one that we had to restart before, which was the weird thing with the numbers not functioning, morale not functioning, things like that. And then some of the other ones as well. But really, what we're going to be looking at doing is adding the battles. So the game has, much like Ultimate General Civil War, has battles. They're single-player battles, essentially, outside of the campaign. And we will look to do all of the battles from a Union perspective first. I think there's probably about half dozen, maybe a little bit more, maybe about 8. But we're going to start with the Union, go through those, and then we'll start with the Confederates to play through those. I'm really liking Grand Tactician. This is going to be something we play probably on the channel for a long, long time. Starting with the 1862 campaign, with the CSA, maybe we'll go into a Union 1861 campaign and kind of just bounce around with the years. Keep it a little fresh with that instead of jumping in order. Crusader Kings 3, you guys kind of tend to know what I like to do in Paradox type games. I like to start out in a controlled environment, so our first campaign will likely be in the British Isles, and we'll kind of check out the mechanics, get a feel, do some internal politics, things like that, and then we'll hop into a more complicated scenario on the European mainland, where all the chaos normally consumes. Maybe some something in Italy, pretty intriguing during that time as well. Marvel Avengers, we'll get to that. Streaming wise, we just finished Ghost of Tsushima. Really like the game. I'll have my thoughts video up here right after this. We'll put it up. Just gotta make a thumbnail for it, and we'll have that out. I do got to make a thumbnail for Grand Tactician. Kind of been lacking with that. I've wanted to get the content out before instead of doing that whole thing. So we'll get some thumbnails going with that and put out Ghost of Tsushima thoughts. I'm not sure if we're going to start Persona 5 yet. We might wait until Marvel's Avengers. But with Persona 5 Royale, we're going to lower the difficulty one notch to where it was when Persona 5, the base game, first came out. Because Merciless is, I think, a feature of Royal. And I think it's supposed to be, in a way, a new game plus type difficulty, much like Fire Emblem. Three Houses came out with a higher difficulty after the release. I think that's what's meant for, and I am clearly not long for that difficulty, as you've seen. So we'll lower it by one and continue that playthrough. We'll probably end up doing that after Marvel's Avengers, though. I've been told, I think there's about 20 to 30 missions, I think, and then as they add stuff, go on, we'll be checking that out. But Marvel's Avengers is something I do want to check out. I don't know if it's a sustained playthrough or what it is, but kind of see. Talk about the sports franchises last, because that's going to be the longest. I had to record this a couple times. It ended up being like 25 minutes because franchise portions. So Ultimate General Civil War, I'm still trying to figure out Malvern Hill. It's going to take a while at this point, but when I figure out a strategy to beat Malvern Hill, we'll actually end up playing that and getting past that row bump going forward. With Star Trek New Horizons, Stellaris, I'm thinking about winding that one down here in the next couple of episodes. I haven't uploaded the episode in a couple of days, so I'll have to double check that and see where we're at. In some aspects, it's fresh take on Stellaris. I like it. Plus with a lot of the events, things like that. But having the Enterprise bug probably around episode 40, 41, and then not having events trigger like the Cardassians taking over the Bajorans, and then the wormhole bringing Dominion in, and the Dominion Wars. We never fought the Klingons, the Romulans. We kind of fought twice. Once was just silly to start the playthrough off, but it is somewhat historical, so I don't know if that was a scripted event or kind of happened like that because we were weaker. And then we just fought them again to pretty much a stalemate. So I'm not sure if we're going to continue with that. We may call that to an end and fit in some other games. Royal 4X waiting for the 0.1.12 patch, but we might end up starting a playthrough and seeing what the 1.1.11 patch has. To add some new things, we'll play with some NPRs. You also have some black hole-esque rifts. Not NPRs, but we'll play with some precursors and things like that, which we haven't played with yet. So I might start that one sometime in the next couple of days, and you'll see that first episode out next week. I do start that, so gonna look for that. I haven't figured out what the start's gonna be. I don't think we're gonna do a scenario, but I think we are going to do a non-Earth start for this one. Kind of mix it up, and we'll kind of have a loose scenario. I'm not sure if when we find Earth there will be humans, but we will be humans as an idea of a long lost colony. So we'll kind of see how that goes. Now on to the sports. I know I'm doing a 2K21 franchise. I think I have how I want to play it. I was very disorganized the first time I started the franchise with an expansion with Little Alaska. I forgot what it was. But we are going to play a franchise with an actual team, but we are going to make it an expansion league franchise. What I mean by that is we are going to allow the CPU to come in with 3 additional, well, I think it's four additional franchises. I think the max is 6, so we'll make it 2 additional franchises and allow the league to naturally grow if it wants to. One of them will be Seattle Supersonics, and we will have them in there. And then I'm not sure what the second team will be, but Seattle will be one of them. Now, I can tell you the franchise. It might give you a hint. They had a rivalry with them for a long time, mostly because some of the players on the team that we'll be picking. But we'll have a franchise reveal on the day of release, and we'll start that franchise then. It's going to be a fun one. And I think I know how I'm going to end up playing it, in that we end up playing, if we have a month of 4 weeks, we end up playing 10 games in that. If it get out of hand, then we sim it and we play on to the next game. So we end up playing 2 games a week. We pick what the 2 games are. And then also on that, when we get deeper into a playoff run, we'll play all the series games, and if we make the playoffs, and then at the end of the day, if we end up into a playoff competition, trying to get into the playoffs, end of season, we'll play those big games, trying to make it. So this one is going to be a great one. I kind of organized and know how I want to play it. I kind of was loosely filling around with it a couple years back, then took a hiatus, I think, off last year. I don't think we played 2K20. I think the last one we played was 2K19. So this is going to be a fun one, and we're going to do an actual franchise. For Madden 21, I have no idea. I want to do a franchise, but no team really speaks to me that I haven't done before. We've done a Bears franchise. That was 2016. I'm looking at. So we had 2016 was the Bears. Then we work into 2019, and it's the Giants. Our Madden 20 was the Bills. Madden 18 ended up being the Bengals. I feel like every other year is really the year we go deep. We went deep with the Bears in 2016. Seemed like a lot of people liked that franchise with the Bears. But also, it was the first franchise that I'd come out with on the channel. And it seems like the Bears really liked, or not the Bears, the people really liked the Bears draft. And it's understandable. Went deep. I think we played a couple Super Bowls. Played one against the Chargers, it looks like. I think we played one other one. But that was the year where the Bears were really coming off Jay Cutler era. We played a lot of playoff games there. We had some good deep runs with that. And I really liked it. I think we ended up winning the Super Bowl in year 1 with that one, and then we struggled in many cases to get there after it. So I'm fine with picking a team that is very established roster. But I also want to have one where we have to rebuild the defense. That is one of them that we'll have to do. The John Fox era in 2006. So We had some lot of good viewership in Madden 2016, and it kind of dropped off in 17 in some cases. And that's mainly because we went with a dual franchise where we still play with the Bears in some cases. We still played in Madden 15 the Bears in some cases as well, but we've always generally played with the Bears. Quite strange. For a while. We've had a Ravens franchise, Bengals as well, which was one that kind of dragged on cases. We had a Madden 17 Ravens franchise that was a dream franchise. So at the end of the day, we had some great so I'm unsure what we're gonna do Madden 20. I've done a face of the franchise start, wasn't really into it. With the state of how franchise is in 21, ultimately, if I could actually transfer the Bills franchise, then that would be ideal. But obviously, can't do that. So, Madden 21, I'm kind of looking at the teams right now to wrap this up on Madden. For the Bucks and having a storyline where Brady essentially one is the last dance, Jordan-esque there. This is his last dance in his last 2 years. Really looking to take the Bucks to the Super Bowl, a team that has a lot of issues, but is a young team under Bruce Arians. And go for that whole-esque style, and we end up taking an owner, and then we deal with the aftermath if we don't get there. Second one I think of is on the AFC side would actually be a Houston Texans franchise. Texans, aging team, but you got a good quarterback. The biggest thing that you have really to answer was trading Hopkins, really the answer to all the woes. Next one would be possible Vikings franchise. And the Vikings team seem to be a team that's too established, so I feel like it would be one that doesn't have a lot of struggles other than cap space. And really, cap space isn't an issue because I find that signings in Madden are pretty easy to do, and the team could be pretty easy to build around, just like if I were to pick like the Saints or anything like that. So the fourth one I was thinking about would be the Panthers. That one's particularly interesting because we're talking about a team that allowed Cam Newton to leave. You brought in Teddy Bridgewater. You got a young team. You got some young receivers. You still have Luke Kuechly, who's aging. You got to build that defense back up, and you're really trying to figure out what you have and build that. And the last one I was really thinking about was the Rams. A lot of NFC teams. The Rams, with it being in a difficult division, is really intriguing. But again, that's locking in playing with a quarterback like Jared Goff, who we'd have to figure out possibly how to get out of that contract. I felt like maybe they have too much cap room, but you're talking about re-signing Aaron Donald. You're still talking about Jalen Ramsey, and then building a team. Leonard Floyd on a $13 million deal, which I thought was silly, but hey, it's there. You got a young defense. need to figure out what you're doing in the middle of that defense. And a hallmark of a lot of my franchises has really been picking a crazy good receiver like we did with the Bears franchise, not the Bears, but the Bills franchise, as well as a middle linebacker that really is a free range linebacker. We did that with the Bears franchise. I think it was in Madden 17 with I think his name was Will Lentz, not like the kicker Will Lutz, but I think it was Lentz. That was a fun one, and it went to what we just had with the Bills franchise, playing with that tandem. Just it was fun. I like building defenses in Madden, and that's why I kind of thinking about those teams. So I'm gonna wrap this one up here. It's about 20 minutes, kind of rambling on at the end of it, but that is the channel update. I will try to do this every week. Kind of been stalling with that, so I gotta remember put it out every Monday or Tuesday. Kind of tell you what's going on, what we'll be doing. I tend to not do them as often because really we had this long gap where nothing was going on. It was the same thing on the channel, really. But now, since we're kind of wrapping up into September, October, November, where new games coming up, we got Cyberpunk on the horizon. Cyberpunk coming out in November. Watchdog Legion sometime in the next 4 months. We got Marvel's Avengers, Hitman 3 next year. Assassin's Creed Valhalla in the next 4 or 5 months. Halo is until next year now. So you got a lot of games that are over in the next 5 or 6 months and beyond. So thank you all for joining me. I know it's just a channel update, but keep hitting that subscribe button with that. Check out the channel. There's a lot of stuff going on. Grand Tactician is going to be a really big showcase on the channel, so make sure you go ahead and check out our campaign there. Make sure you check out other campaigns as well on YouTube for Grand Tactician. Really enjoying History Guy Gaming's his playthrough. Been watching some of Tortuga Power, XTRG, theirs playthrough of Grand Tactician. Really learning the game just like everyone else is, and it's been a fun ride from there. I think I might be the only one that's generally doing, at least out of the guys that I've named, they're doing an 1862 start as the Confederates. No one of them is doing an 1862 start as Union. Another one is doing an 1861 start as the Union, and I think the other ones might be messing around with an 1863 start. I'm not sure. But yeah, thanks for hanging out here. Thanks for checking out the video. Make sure you check out the rest of the channel. Subscribe so you don't miss any more of this. Make sure you hit that bell as well so you don't miss anything that's, well, you're interested in that. After this, well, I'll have that Ghost of Tsushima thoughts video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later.